Welcome to another edition of HorseCenter, everyone. I am Brian Zipsy, and as always, I have the pleasure of being joined by my partner to the east, Matt Schiffman. How are you today, Matt?
I'm good. I'm in New Jersey. I was in New Jersey all week while you were out in Arkansas. How was your trip, Brian?
I had a great time. They treat you well in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Oakland Park is a charming track to visit. For all of you that never been there, I highly recommend it. Saw some good racing we're going to talk about a little bit, Matt. Let's jump right into this Kentucky Derby trail because things are really starting to happen, Matt. And of course, the first thing we need to talk about is the champ is back. The champ is back.
Yeah, the Nyquist and Exaggerator battle in the San Vicente, I think, lived up to everything that we thought it might be. And I had been a Nyquist doubter, and I think I'm a little bit less of a Nyquist doubter as a result of his performance in the San Vicente.
Yeah, it was hard not to like what you see in the San Vicente, Matt. It was a great performance. I don't even know how much we could say that Nyquist and Exaggerator battled because, frankly, when Exaggerator asked the question, Nyquist repelled him, and he did it rather easily. We're talking about 7 furlongs in 120 and change. We're talking about not a full-out looking Nyquist. 6 for 6, the champ is back. He's undefeated still, and now we know he's carried his good 2-year-old form over to his 3-year-old year, and he looks maybe even better than any of his races last year. Having said that, Matt, I thought Exaggerator ran a very good race. And this is only 7 furlongs. There's obviously room for him to develop and improve.
Yeah, I agree, Brian. You know, coming around the turn into the stretch, Exaggerator, I thought we were going to have quite a battle because Exaggerator was moving extremely well, looking strong. But like you said, Nyquist is so tough, is so game. He wouldn't even let Exaggerator get within a length of him. And it was a tremendous performance. I don't think it was easy by any means for Nyquist. I think, like you said, Brian, Exaggerator has a heck of a future. And Nyquist had to battle, and battle he did, and won the San Vicente nicely. And I also think Exaggerator is going to be better as the distances increase. And we'll see what happens with Nyquist also as the distances increase and the competition steps up going that distance of ground.
Yeah, the competition was there, but right, it's 7 furlongs. So that's a big difference, folks, than 10 furlongs. The good news is Nyquist came back, and he came back in excellent form. Everybody that's looking for Nyquist this year should be thrilled with the San Vicente. But I think both Matt and I are warning you that 7 furlongs is not 10 furlongs. So we still need to see him at 9 furlongs, 10 furlongs, and up. He may do it. He's looking better all the time. He was working great, and he ran like it. And for those of you that have liked Exaggerator all along, please do not be discouraged by this performance because it was a really good performance at a distance that neither of us think will be his best down the road. San Vicente, great race. No point value, but who cares? Both of these horses, whether it be the Florida Derby, it looks like for Nyquist, or maybe the San Felipe or the Santa Anita Derby for Exaggerator, should be horses to watch out for as we get closer to the Kentucky Derby. Matt, as you said, I was at Oakland Park during the weekend, and they ran the Southwest Stakes. 14 3-year-olds going a mile and a 16th at Oakland Park, and the horse who would be first was last for most of the way.
Yeah, well, that was some amazing performance by Suddenbreakingnews. And that's quite a name on Suddenbreakingnews also. I thought the track announcer captured the race terrifically. At the early calls, he said that Suddenbreakingnews was a distant 14th. And in a field of 14, that's pretty distant. Looking at the chart, after the quarter, he was 15 lengths behind. At the top of the stretch, he was still over 5 lengths behind. And wow, I love a closer more than anybody, Brian. So that was quite a performance to come down the stretch and overtake Whitmore, who had also run a good race with not the best trip.
Absolutely, Matt. I think that's part of the story. First off, you had a lot of horses wanting to be on or near the lead. It's set up for the closers, not taking anything away from Sudden Breaking News, but this race was clearly set up for a horse to rally, and Sudden Breaking News did it well. He just inhaled the leaders. Even at the eighth pole, he was still behind, pretty clearly behind, anyone going away by almost 3 lengths. Big performance. This is interesting too because he was a nice 2-year-old, but all 5 of his races were at Oklahoma at Remington Park. So you didn't know for sure the class level. He showed he's got some class and he ran big. I liked the race. Whitmore ran a lot. He had trouble. He was steadied. Excuse me. He was steadied. He had to kind of come out. And then maybe he got a little short at the end. He passed a game American Dubai. But for his 4th lifetime race, I thought it was a very good performance from Whitmore, who's a real presence, a physical presence, the son of Pleasantly Perfect. I think we're going to hear more from the runner-up, Whitmore, coming out of the Southwest. But the winner, who knows? Who knows how good he is? He's also bred to run all day, and big performance in the Southwest. There'll be Rebel headed next, and it should be a bigger, tougher race with $900,000 on the line in the Rebel.
Yeah, and after the race, Mike Smith, who rode Whitmore, also mentioned that after getting shuffled back, that Whitmore was a little uncooperative. He's still got stuff to learn, and as you said, with a limited number of starts, this is a horse that will get better with more experience.
I still like him, Matt. Hey, talking about who we like for the Kentucky Derby, how about we show the fans our current top 10 lists, Matt? I'm excited to do this as always. Why don't we start with you and tell us who your number 1? Why don't you tell us your number 1, 2, 3, Matt?
Okay, I'm still Mohaymen on top. I think his race in the Holy Bull was the most impressive race that we've had so far. My biggest change in my top 10 is that I moved Nyquist to number 2 because his performance was so impressive. Again, we talked about reservations that we have, but out of respect from the San Vicente, I moved him up to number 2. I have More Spirit at number 3, and part of that is because I don't think I'm quite as impressed with More Spirit as you are, Brian.
Well, when Gary Stevens finally decides to lay him down in the lane, Matt, he's got an acceleration that you don't see from young 3-year-olds all the time. And I think 10 Furlongs is going to be right up his alley, Matt. More Spirit, the son of young sire Ascendaria, who, of course, didn't get a chance to run in the Kentucky Derby himself. So for that reason, when I'm talking about horses that I think could win the Kentucky Derby, in what do we have, Matt? A little over 11 weeks now. I have More Spirit ahead of Nyquist. However, I do have Mohaymen. I agree with you. Mohaymen is the horse to beat in my mind right now. Mohaymen number 1, More Spirit number 2. Nyquist, I did move up a little bit, number 3, but I think I saw what I expected to see a little bit. 7 Furlongs, he was working well. He is an Uncle Mo. Just got to see it more as the distances go on and the competition gets even tougher than Exaggerator. Yes, big respect for Nyquist, but I can only honestly say he's my 3rd most likely to win the Kentucky Derby right now, just barely ahead of a horse who hasn't run yet this year, and that's Brody's Cause at number 4.
Yeah, we both have Brody's Cause at number 4. All reports are that he's training extremely well. That's, that's a number 4 position with a star, I think, for both of us, because we're waiting to see how he does in his debut for the year. And I think we kind of feel that about some other horses that are in our top 10s also. I have Exaggerator at number 5. And Brian, how about you?
Yeah, Exaggerator shouldn't be dropped too low, Matt. I did drop him just a touch because I haven't seen him beat a top horse yet. So he dropped to 6, but I still like Exaggerator. Checking in for number 5 for me, which is a little bit of change from what I printed a week or 2 ago, and that's Aeroforce, because Aeroforce had to miss the Sam F. Davis with just a little bit of something in his lungs after a workout, but he quickly bounced back. He's working great. and Aero Force is going to be the favorite in the Risen Star. He's my number 5, just ahead of Exaggerator. I see, have Aero Force down at 7. We both like Greenpoint Crusader a little bit. I have Smoky Image at number 7, though, Matt, and you don't have him on your list yet.
I need to see a race against Open Company from Smoky Image. I need to see him step out of the Calbred ranks and tangle with the rest of the 3-year-olds, and then I would be happy to put him into my top 10.
Well, hopefully we'll get to see him tangle against horses like Exaggerator coming up in the California preps for the Derby. That'll be interesting, but I think Smoky Image is a big California-bred talent, much like California a couple years ago. Matt, I have Motom at number 9, who's going to run in the Risen Star. We're going to preview that in a second. And Whitmore is the horse from the Southwest that I got into my top 10, although it wasn't easy to keep Suddenbreakingnews out.
Yeah, and I have Suddenbreakingnews in the number 8 position because listening to something you said earlier in the week, that Suddenbreakingnews is the kind of horse that can make some noise in the Kentucky Derby. If he gets that far, he's the kind of horse that could pick up pieces. He's the kind of horse that I'd want to have on my trifecta tickets. So we'll see with him. I left Blue Creek in from Dubai to see how he does in the future. And my sleeper horse a little bit in the top 10, in the number 10 position, is Zulu for Todd Plesher. Still hearing so many good things about him that there are a lot of people that think this horse has a lot of talent. So again, we'll see. Time is running out. Brian, I think we're 80 or less days to the Derby already. So horses like Zulu and Aero Force and Motom, and we got to start seeing something from them soon.
Yeah, Matt, it's 78 days. So, right. I think we need to see stakes performances for horses like Zulu. I liked a horse called Dazzling Gem that ran at Oaklawn Park this weekend. Yeah, we have to see more against better competition for sure before they expect to make some real noise in the Derby. Zulu should be in a stakes in Gulfstream Park soon. Speaking of Pletcher, highly regarded Pletcher horses, we saw Destin win the Sam F. Davis. Very well breeding. I don't know if he translates class-wise, but he might be a horse getting good at the right time.
Yeah, Destin, I'm pretty sure, is a full brother to Creative Cause, who was pretty good 3-year-old a few years ago before he was injured on the Derby Trail. Again, nice win. I don't think it was a great field in the Sam F. Davis, but good performance.
Yeah, and also out west, the Golden Gate Fields, El Camino Real, their big race was won by Frank Conversation, who is winning on synthetic surfaces out there at Golden Gate. And also, he sure looks like Nyquist's second string from the Redham and O'Neill team.
Yeah, that's a pretty good barn. O'Neill has certainly figured out how to get his 3-year-olds ready and getting the wins and the money and the points on the Derby Trail, but can't compare that horse to Nyquist.
Not yet, that's for sure. Okay, Matt, we have a big one. We only have one real Derby prep this week, but I think it's a pretty big one in that a lot of horses in top 20s around the country are all converging down at the Risen Star in New Orleans. And I think we need to talk about the horses that ran in the Kentucky Jockey Club first and foremost. Aero Force was the winner. He's in the Risen Star, making his first start back. More Spirit was second. He's already won 2 graded stakes since then. He's staying in California, of course. Motom has done nothing but good rallies every time. He won the LeCompte last time. Gunrunner was 4th. He's making his first start since the Kentucky Jockey Club. And even Tom's Ready, who ran 8th in the Kentucky Jockey Club, has run good races since that key race last fall at Churchill Downs.
Yeah, big field in the Risen Star. And that top 4 from the Kentucky Jockey Club, they all ran well in that race. Remember, it was a super sloppy surface, and Air Force took to it really well. Gunrunner was up on the front, battling along, seemed to get a little tired. I think with maturity, he could show a lot more. I've heard he's training really well also. We know what more Spirit has gone. He flatters all the horses in the race because you've got him as number 2. I've got him as number 3. Feather in the cap to Aeroforce for running him down in there. Mo Tom came up the rail in that race. Nice, solid performance there. It'll be great to see what comes from that bunch. Aeroforce is coming from the Cassie barn. They're a little cool right now. Tepin's performance warmed them up on the turf at the Sam F. Davis, but their 3-year-olds haven't been going really well, but this is their number 1 gun.
This is their number 1 off that big performance, and obviously the Kentucky Jockey Club was a 2-year-old race of quality. Aeroforce won it, like you said, Matt. It was wet, but everybody ran well. We know what More Spirit's done since. He's the only one not in the Risen Star, the horses we're talking about. Gotta like Mo Tom, you gotta respect him. Gunrunner, I agree, that was only his 3rd lifetime race. He was a little green and a little tired late, but Gunrunner might be the one here. I also still have big hopes for Uncle Walter, who's also lightly raced. Mo Tom beat him last time, but I think he could be good. Aeroforce, if he's a heavy favorite here off that Kentucky Jockey Club first race back, I'm willing to take a shot against him, probably with the 3 that I just mentioned, Mo Tom, Uncle Walter, and Gunrunner. But yeah, I can't fault Aeroforce at all. He's run nothing but good races, and I could see him being one of the best 3-year-olds in the country.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all, Brian. He ran a terrific race in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf also. So he's done great things on turf, on dirt, on wet. So versatile horse. I hope to see him show his best on Saturday in New Orleans.
Yeah, it's a good race. Saturday, New Orleans, they have a great card, Fairgrounds, and the Risen Star is the big one of the bunch. Aeroforce returning could be one of the best 3-year-olds in the country. As Matt said, he's done it on every surface. I want to see him do it against this bunch, see where he fits on a dry track. So the Risen Star is this week's big one. Matt, another great show for HorseCenter. Kentucky Derby top 10s, lots of races last week, more this week to talk about. You did a great job, my partner.
As always, thank you very much, Brian, and thank you to our able producer, Ember Marr.
Ember Marr. We're brought to you by Derby Wars, the biggest contest site in the business, folks. We'll be back early next week for another edition of HorseCenter. See you then.